Hey everybody, this is Scott, and today's episode of In the Field, I am going back to La Jolla. A few weeks ago, I was contacted by another local photographer. They'd seen my work and was interested in learning some more about long exposures, getting the ocean rolling over rocks and so forth. And there is really no better place to do that in San Diego than Windansea Beach in La Jolla. Let me show you that on the maps, and then I'll show you some footage from the shoot. So here is the town of La Jolla, just a little north of San Diego. And this stretch of coast has lots of wonderful opportunities for seascapes. Some cliffs, wonderful rocks, some nice beaches. I'll zoom out here just so you can get an idea of the lay of the land. So San Diego downtown's here, and La Jolla is up in this little piece of land that sticks out a little bit. Flipping over to the maps, I didn't care about sunrise because it was rainy, overcast, and just nothing's going to be happening. But what was great, let me zoom into Windansea Beach here. There we go. So this little stretch here is known as Windansea Beach, and it's just a fantastic place at any time of whether it be low tide, high tide, doesn't really matter because of all these different rock formations. And so in the early morning, all of this parking area is very open, me and a few surfers. And there's a few access points to get down in between the different cliffs and rock faces. There's a stairway here, there's one here, and there's enough footpaths that you can walk up along some of these cliffs. And at the low parts of tide, you can work your way down to the sandy part of the beach. And that's what I did. I'm going to rotate around here. I spent quite a bit of time walking along these cliff faces here, shot up along here for a little bit, shot up in this area, went quite farther north, but I spent most of my time down in here and worked my way down through these rock areas here, shot some here, climbed over these rocks, and spent some time in this area. There was water that flows through here. This will show up on the map. Yeah, there we go. This chasm here is actually open, and if I could really wanted to, I could walk through. And at the tides that I were at, the waves were crashing over this rock, spilling down into this way. Sometimes water would come through here and swish through. Sometimes it was coming through here. All sorts of great patterns going on. So this is really where I spent my time. That's roughly the angle that you'll see in the video here in a moment. So one of the things that was interesting about this shoot was the weather forecast. Called for rain, consistent rain all day long. And sure enough, when we arrived on the location a couple of hours before sunrise, it was raining. Not downpours, but certainly enough that you'd want an umbrella. And I'm really glad we just decided to go anyway. It turned out to be a great shoot. For one of the reasons is that normally sunrise and sunset are kind of rushed. You have about 10 to 15 minutes of that really good light, and then it's over. On this morning, as luck would have it, the clouds started to break up. Not clear up, but break up just enough right around the time of sunrise. And from sunrise until maybe 45 minutes after sunrise, the rain had stopped. The clouds still hung over the sky, but enough light came through that it really just created a very nice, diffused, even lighting across the scene. So let me show you some of the footage from the scene. I need to apologize for the audio in advance on this. Some of it was taken while it was still raining, and I was trying to keep equipment dry. My head's muddled down there, so it's a little bit rough, but you'll get the idea of what was going on.
It's cold, it's drizzling, and I'm at La Jolla watching these waves crash here. We're going to see if we can get some interesting sea foam shots this morning. Alright, so I framed up around here. I'm shooting at f8, and this seagull's been very cooperative, posing on the rock for me. Rain's still coming down pretty heavy, so I've got a plastic cover over the camera. I'll show you a view through the camera, and then we'll grab a few shots. I've only been down the beach a little bit more. The sky is thankfully starting to break here, and you can see this is roughly the framing here. Let me switch over to right through the camera. So I've changed up to f11, and that's mainly so I can keep my shutter speed between 1 to 1.5 seconds to get some drag in that water, some nice softness.
I want to show you one other thing that I'm doing here as I'm taking the shots is I'm paying attention to the histogram, making sure I'm exposing to the right. So let me show you here. Hopefully this comes out in the video. The last shot that I took, you can see where the histogram is. And I did this at positive 3 on the exposure compensation. And that histogram is not all the way to the right. I'm going to take another shot. I bumped it up to 7.7. Now let's take a look and see how that looks. You can see now I'm almost all the way up to the edge there. And what that's going to do is give the camera more data to work with when I'm in post. So
I guess I should apologize for the focus on that last clip too. But I think you can get the idea. You saw where the histogram was between those two shots, and just adjusting the exposure compensation shifted things over to the right a little bit. I don't know all the details of the math that goes behind it, but I do know that the camera captures more data on the upper end of the light spectrum. So from your upper midtones into your highlights, you're gathering more data and you have more to work with when you're in post. And here's a few of the shots that I came away with that day. Like I said, this was a really good day for shooting. There were plenty of opportunities and a longer window of time to shoot with some really nice light. So the takeaways for the trip, a couple really. Number one is, disregard the weather. Short of it being a dangerous storm, you don't want to be running around with a tripod in a lightning storm. Don't do that. But if it's raining, still go out, because you might end up with the greatest shooting conditions you could ever ask for. But the other one is exposing to the right. That's quite important. You'll capture more data. You'll have more data to work with in post. So that's it for this week in the field. Hope you enjoyed this episode. You can always catch up with everything that I'm doing through my website. Drop me a line. I'd like to hear from you. If you're local to San Diego, it'd be great to meet up with you too. Go out for a shoot. And I will be back again soon with some post work and more episodes of In the Field in the future. Thanks for stopping by.